What's good, YouTube? It's your host, Shin Santana, and you are now watching MVP Magazine. So, the second of the big Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives has finally been released. And it's only right that Nintendo pinned their high hopes on their first ever pixelated protagonist. It's only right that Donkey Kong comes to save the day. Now, honestly, being that Donkey Kong was not only Nintendo's first successful character, but first successful video game, it's actually quite disappointing to see that he's not mentioned in the big four, and that this is his first AAA game in a long time. So it's really great to see that Nintendo have put a ton of time and effort into making sure that this is a high quality AAA game. They definitely made sure that this is Donkey Kong's quintessential Congo comeback. They definitely put some respect on this marsupial's name.
Put some respect on my name.
So, with all that being said, will this game be an expensive disappointment, or will our boy DK be back on top of the banana bunch? Let's see. So, as I said before, straight off the bat, one of the things you're definitely going to notice is that this game looks good. Nintendo definitely have spared no expense to make sure this game reeks of quality. And in this day and age where it seems like every gaming company just wants to rip us off for our money, it's very good to see Nintendo actually try. And when they do, I'm not gonna lie, they do it like no one else. One area where Nintendo really stuck their landing was the overall level design. Being that these levels are fully destructible, you would probably expect them to look like fried dog turds. But instead, Nintendo created levels that deliver the same amount of quality of at least Mario Odyssey. Yes! Like for real. Even though these levels are fully destructible, they're still packed with all the same character, side missions, and overall quality you would expect from any top Nintendo platformer. Which, I'm not gonna lie, kinda makes me feel bad when I just run around and smash all Nintendo's hard work to pieces. But hey, that's part of the game.
Stop it.
Now, I would just like to take a little time to shout out some of the graphical texture work on the actual characters themselves. Now, even though this game looks like a cartoon, the overall attention and detail that Nintendo put into animating DK's fur is bananas. Okay, I will try to promise no more banana puns for this video. But all jokes aside, it is really good to see Nintendo make such a commendable effort to put our boy DK back on top with a real AAA experience. And I'm pretty sure that quite a few people that play this game will forget that they're not playing on hardware that's as capable as the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox. It's like really good how Nintendo was able to get as much juice out of the hardware as possible to make something that looks this good. Now, when it comes to story in a Donkey Kong game, it's pretty much like the Mario franchise where it's just business as usual. Our boy DK has had his banana bunch stolen and we gotta go get them back. Pretty simple as that. But I will not lie, whilst playing this, I definitely appreciated the extra pieces of lore and side characters which make Donkey Kong more appealing as a character and give him something to do going forward. And even then, to be honest, the Donkey Kong franchise, much like Mario, has always been more about gameplay than story, as opposed to something like Zelda or Animal Crossing. So the stuff that Nintendo is doing with developing Donkey Kong and the Pauline characters is really cool. I really think it's dope. When it comes to gameplay, that is an area where Nintendo games usually stand out and shine. And I'm happy to say that this game is no different. Now, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if most people thought that this game was going to be a reskinned Super Mario Odyssey with a primate colored paint job. And again, if we just be honest, a game like that pretty much would have went over well with the public and people would have given it praise anyway. But the fact that Nintendo went out of their way to give Donkey Kong his own original feel and gameplay mechanics to make his game feel distinctively different from Mario and other platformers is actually really good. So it's like on one hand, you have the Super Mario Odyssey 3D games where you might go out and do a ton of exploration and find stuff. And on the other hand, you just have Donkey Kong games where you break stuff. It's actually really cool. Like there's definitely enough here to make it feel like, okay, I'm not just playing another Mario game with a different coat of paint. Donkey Kong has his own feel, he has his own groove, and I'm definitely here for it. So one of the things which is distinctively cool about this game is the whole destructibility aspect. Now, usually with these kinds of collectathon platform games, there's usually a ton of cleverly thought out puzzles and other conundrums that the developers put in place. And I love the fact that you have the freedom to just smash all of that. Just smash it. Now, I kind of think it's really cool that you can find your own solutions to some of the game's puzzles by just using the physics in the game. I think that speaks to a really well-made game. Like Nintendo just give you the tools, give you the game, and let you run wild. And I think it just really works. Damn! Now, glowing praise aside, in my humble opinion, one of the drawbacks of this game is that it definitely suffers from starting out slow. Being that you start in such a small area, you can kind of get overstimulated with smashing everything, and it can kind of feel one note until the game opens up and gives you more control of Donkey Kong and his abilities. But once you get past that initial area and section and the game opens up, you can definitely see more of what the developers initially wanted you to, and it becomes a better overall experience. And it's really cool to see what they can do with certain features they have in a game. Just because the game has an overall cartoon and comedic vibe, it's actually really impressive how deep they went with some of the physics systems in the game. Things like being able to clear out hazardous terrain using rocks on the ground. Hey, does that piece of wall have spikes that will hurt your fingers? Well then rip out a piece of ground and smash that wall in its face. Or you could just simply find some explosive mining material lying around and just blow everything up. So I will not lie, the level of creativity that these developers let you get away with when you're just trying to accomplish your simple tasks is actually really refreshing. And again, that is another one of many reasons why Donkey Kong feels unique amongst the rest of its Nintendo brethren. Now, collecting shiny things and doohickeys have been part of platforming games since pretty much the inception. But to be honest, me personally have never been one of these guys who completely fans out on collecting 100% of everything in a 3D environment. But again, Donkey Kong Bonanza has definitely found a way to innovate and make collecting things actually kind of useful. So there's obviously the bananas, which we collect to show our progress in the game. But the bananas also have another function. If you collect enough of them, you'll gain a skill point that helps you upgrade Donkey Kong's skills and abilities. And as we know with most platform games, you don't need to find all the trinkets to complete it. So this gives you more incentive and reasons to want to collect everything you can to power up your version of DK. And they've even found a way to make all the other little trinkets that you can find around levels useful in the in-game world. Things like using currency to buy different outfits and fur colors for DK and Pauline. It's actually really cool to see Nintendo taking traditional old school gaming tropes and kind of modernizing them and making them work in today's world and making them relevant. No longer are gamers bound by the laws of collecting things just for the sake of it. No, they actually have a use and a function, which is actually kind of cool. Now, another nice touch which I really like about this game is that Nintendo added these small kind of story-esque cut sequences where you interact with Donkey Kong and the environment through just one button. And I really think it gives the whole game a cinematic flavor without actually having to use dialogue or needless exposition, and it just gives the presentation a nice lick of polish which other games don't have. Now, yes, some of them definitely can be laugh out loud, but in a cringe kind of way, but that definitely does not stop them from being enjoyable any the less. Now, one of the things I was actually really surprised about was the combat and how many different ways there are to attack enemies. Like, you've got the punches, which is obvious, but you can also rip stuff out of the ground and throw that at the enemy, but also diagonally and straight up. And you've also got different directions to punching straight forward, punching upwards, punching downwards. You can jump up and do dive bomb attacks. Like, the combat is actually really varied in this game. I'm surprised they haven't got something where you can knock enemies up into the air and attack them from there like Devil May Cry. The combat is actually really varied and really action-packed. Now, one thing I'm really surprised by is the amount of people that's not talking about how good this painting minigame is. I mean, you can turn this game into literal primate Photoshop and start painting some prime pictures. Now, I will not lie, I was really surprised by how comfortable and accurate the Joy-Con 2 functions as a mouse. Like, being able to get precision while coloring. I'm sold on this. So I'm not gonna lie, when I have my little weekends, when I have a little time to myself, I'm gonna be on this coloring whatever I can color. This is a really good idea for just a little break from the natural game. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. The only thing that would make this better is if you could literally carve out your own monkey head and stuff and make it, customize it yourself. But then again, we'd probably get some random stuff on the internet. So yeah, probably a bad idea. But anyway, this game kind of has a lot going for it. I will not lie. This is not just a run-of-the-mill platformer. This is definitely a lot more than I expected. Now, that being said, I will not lie. This game definitely has some performance and camera issues, with the camera getting stuck behind Donkey Kong or on his toe or just behind a piece of scenery when you least expect it. And sometimes when you're, fighting bosses or there's a ton of stuff happening on the screen, the game will just slow all the way down. But that being said, with the amount of destructible stuff that's actually happening in the environment, the fact that the engine has to calculate everything at once and keep it running at 60 frames per second when it can, you can understand it. Now, when your new console is on the market and this is supposed to be the new, more powerful version of the Switch, having your second exclusive basically make the frame rate slow down to a crawl, that is not a good look. I will not lie, that's definitely not a good look. It doesn't instill faith in the console or the consumer. But that being said, Nintendo was still able to deliver a quality experience that I can't hate on. And overall, despite any shortcomings that the engine or frame rate may have, the overall game is still enjoyable. So, for all my true blue Nintendo fans, there's no need for me to convince you. You already know, you've already made your mind up. There's definitely enough here for you to go out and grab the game and feel like you've got your money's worth. Donkey Kong is better than he's ever been. There's never been a Donkey Kong game with a higher amount of quality. Pauline is excellent, and it's actually cool to see them build on their relationship. And maybe we should cancel Mario for trying to interrupt that, but I'm going to make another video about that. But either way, for Nintendo fans, Nintendo definitely did their thing, and you're going to be happy. And for everybody else, well, there's still a very polished platform and adventure here for you to take a look at, so why not, right? So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you're down with the Switch 2 Brigade. Let me know if you're up with Donkey Kong. And yeah, sayonara.